Ways to build resilience during tough times. It's human nature to resist change, particularly when it comes in the form of adversity or challenges. But change is inevitable, and developing the trait of resilience helps us not only survive change, but also learn, grow, and thrive in it. When you can improve your ability to navigate the difficult times, you not only live a happier life, but you also grow as person. So if times are tough right now, you can take steps to strengthen your resilience. Even if you're not struggling at the moment, adopting these habits now can help you down the road when life throws you a curveball. 1. Pump up your positivity. Resilient people tend to find some silver lining in any situation, no matter how difficult or devastating. Their emotions are well balanced, in good times and in bad. For many of us, it is impossible to see any positivity in an unfortunate situation. We turn to negative thoughts fully and they consume us, taking away our ability to bounce back and recover quickly. For those of us who have a hard time seeing any positivity in negative experiences, there is a way to broaden our vision. The first step is to learn to recognize and appreciate the positive events in our life. Because of built-in survival mechanisms, our brain is wired to pay more attention to the negativity. So it will take some effort to appreciate the positivity. Learning to promote positive thoughts to set off on a path to positive emotions is also recommended. When you catch yourself thinking negatively about any part of your life, try to turn it around by asking yourself literal questions. For example, you tell yourself, "I will never get the job of my dreams." The question to ask is, how is the fact that I haven't found the job of my dreams yet add up to never? 2. Don't stop because it hurts a little. Millions of dollars are spent on self-help books, therapists, and drugs in an attempt to outrun adversity and the pain that comes with it. Heads up, folks, pain is part of the human condition, and the sooner you embrace this fact of life, the more content you'll be. Resilient people face their fears and have an adaptive attitude that lets them focus on possibilities even in the worst of times. The tougher the situation, the tougher they become. 3. Master your emotions before they manage you. Resilient people have a positive outlook. They remind themselves that much of what they're facing is temporary, and that they've overcome setbacks before and can do it again. Resilient people focus on what they can learn from the experience. 4. Don't withdraw in tough times. You may be inclined to retreat into your shell when you're facing challenges in your life. You may fear being a burden to friends and loved ones or feel too exhausted to reach out. But try to keep up with social activities even when you don't feel like it. Good friends won't consider you a burden, they're more likely to feel flattered that you trust them enough to confide in them. Try to avoid negative people. Some friends are good listeners, kind and empathetic. Others seem to only fuel negative emotions, leaving you feeling even more stressed, anxious, or panicky. Try to avoid anyone who magnifies your problems, criticizes, or makes you feel judged. 5. Face your fears. Neuroscience says there's only one real way to deal with fear. You need to face it, head on. This is what the most resilient people do. When we avoid scary things, we become more scared. When you face your fears, they become less frightening. While denial can have some positive functions, it can give you an opportunity to come to terms with the shock of a traumatic event. For example, over time, it will just prolong your pain. Staying in denial will prevent you from adapting to your new circumstances, stop you from seeking solutions or taking action, and stifle the healing process. 6. Replace. Once you've identified the key takeaways from your difficult time, you just need to make a change. If it's a change you can apply immediately, do it. You don't want to be in the middle of a difficult situation longer than necessary. If it's something you can't implement right now, write it down so you can use it when the situation requires it. Tough people look for meaning. They develop a personal cause that helps them have a clear sense of purpose and helps them see setbacks from a broader perspective. Getting through difficult times requires resistance. Willing to pay attention to the complexities of our own experiences, listen to our emotions, and learn from frustration and failure as well as success and motivation. 7. Have resilient role models. When you study kids who grow up in impoverished circumstances but go on to live productive, healthy lives, what do you find? Resilient people understand that failure is not falling down but refusing to get up. They have the capacity to adapt successfully and the tenacity to never, ever quit. 8. Focus on what you can control, not what you can't. Some situations are beyond your control, and no matter what you do, you can't change a thing. You're setting yourself up for frustration when you focus your time and energy on things you can't control. You're also making the situation seem even more bleak than it actually is because you're focusing on the negatives. 9. Realize you've come a long way. Sometimes we get so focused on the road ahead that we never look back to see what we've already traveled. Give yourself credit for everything you've already done. You'll give yourself a confidence boost when you realize that you've already made so much progress, and the light at the end of the tunnel will get brighter. Realistic optimism identifies points of control, in this case, the ability to communicate, and takes advantage of them. Resilience is the act of taking a step forward despite dire circumstances. When we look critically for something we can control, we lay out the path for ourselves. 10. Question the catastrophe. When we don't get our way, whether it be an election or a promotion, many of us spiral into a sense of catastrophe. We're overcome with a sense of hopelessness. We exaggerate the effect of something negative in our life and imagine our entire life is about to fall apart. If we don't question the catastrophe, we give our imagination permission to expect the worst possible outcome in a situation. While it's smart to be aware of possible negative outcomes, when we assume the worst will happen, we set ourselves up for unnecessary stress. 11. Tough people look for meaning. They develop a personal cause that helps them have a clear sense of purpose and helps them see setbacks from a broader perspective. Getting through difficult times requires resistance. Our willingness to pay attention to the complexities of our own experiences, to listen to our emotions, and to learn from failure as well as success and motivation. Express gratitude. It may sound trite, but even when you experience terrible times, it's usually possible to find one thing you can be grateful about. The love of a pet, for example, a beautiful sunset, or a caring friend. Taking a moment to acknowledge your gratitude for such small things can provide respite from the stress and really boost your mood.